Today we're following up on HunterXHunter after the anime and going a bit deeper on some of what's going on. Last time the focus was on the Dark Continent, but now we're going into some of the details from before that. Specifically, we're looking at the Ging Pariston conflict, that Hisoka fight, and then where the heck did Gon and Killua go? All of which fall in the chapters before the Succession War even starts. Let's crack in. So Ging and Pariston dipped out of the Zodiacs to go and join Beyond's team for that voyage to the Dark Continent. What's going on there? Well, in short, they're beefing, but we're here for details. Well, Pariston has actually been on Team Beyond for a long time. It's suggested by Ging that part of the reason he even rose to the vice chairmanship of the Hunters Association was to get stuff sorted for this trip. So, naturally, when the call comes for the Dark Continent, Pariston is already gone, ingratiated as the number 2 on Beyond's elite team, and basically the head honcho beside Beyond himself. He's also got 5,000 Chimera ants seemingly under his command from the end of the CA arc. Basically, this means that Pariston is sitting on a pile of the HunterXHunter equivalent of nukes. So, Pariston sends out this ultimatum to the Hunters Association. I've got 5,000 Chimera ants. Be a cool little Hunters Association and go to the Dark Continent on your own terms. Or follow the V5's plan, and the minute you leave, I'm unleashing all of these ants on the unprotected world. But it's really a lose-lose situation. If the association takes option 1, Pariston can just send his ants to go and pass the entrance exam and join the association as regular hunters, basically making the association full of snakes, ready for Pariston to rile up at a moment's notice. And so we come to Ging. He's here to be a surprise third option on Pariston's ultimatum. The association can't win either way, so Ging is here as an alternate solution. If Pariston is going to throw his ants at the world to keep himself entertained, maybe Ging can provide that entertainment instead. So far, it seems like this was Jing's call on his own, and the association didn't just throw him at Pariston and hope for the best. Jing's actually working for the best solution here. He joins Team Beyond and keeps Pariston from doing something catastrophic. Immediately, he starts by trying to usurp Pariston's role as the second in command. And let's be clear, this is a pretty meaningless title to everyone involved. Ging offers everyone double what they're being paid to accept him as the number 2. He's literally spending billions of dollars to take a meaningless title from Pariston. And Pariston, for his part, is totally into it. There's a good line here that sums him up. People normally feel happiness when they love or are loved in return. I feel happiness when people hate me, and I have this urge to hurt the things I love. Pariston is actually starting to hate Ging and has no idea how to respond to that. He gets part of the gang to fight Ging to try and figure out his Nen power, and Ging just mocks him for it. And that's kind of where we leave them. Ging goes on to claim number 2 in the squad, and their complicated love-hate relationship sits ready to blossom. Our final point on these guys though, the writing through their encounters is kind of all over the place, which makes it hard to figure out what they're actually saying. Pariston's ultimatum is a particular point of varied opinions. This is as best as I can understand it, but doubtless y'all are really good at correcting my mistakes in the comments, so please look there for a second opinion. Thank you, commenters. The Hisoka fight. This is a good one. Hisoka vs Chrollo. Hisoka's been keen on a proper fight with Chrollo for a good long while now, and Chrollo's been putting him off until now for a key reason that we'll see shortly. They organize it at Heaven's Arena, and it's a proper death match between them. Let's break down the fight and then the fallout. In one corner, we have Hisoka, the embodiment of an improv fight style. He's here for the thrill of it all. He's got his bungee gum, which we know has the properties of both rubber and gum. He's a crazy creative fighter and one of the toughest around. In the other corner, we have Chrollo, the definition of getting the right tool for the job. He hasn't just been putting Hisoka off. He's been prepping the plans, powers, and strategies to take him down. This is Batman with prep time. He's got his book loaded with the powers that he'll need, and a bookmark to use 2 powers at once, or one without even holding the book. These are the powers that he's using, and we are trying to keep these simple. Black voice. Stick the antenna in someone and you can fully control them. Gallery fake. Create copies of something into inanimate objects. The sun and moon. Affixes sun and moon symbols on a target. When 2 different symbols touch, they explode, and the marks cannot be removed until they explode. Order stamp. Stamp a puppet's head and you can give it any simple verbal command. Does not work on corpses. Convert hands. Take on someone's likeness, give someone your likeness, or swap likeness with someone. Yeah, Chrollo came prepared, and it's then the combination of these powers that overcomes their own limitations. Order Stamp doesn't affect corpses, but it can affect Nen copies of corpses. Sun and Moon symbols are permanent even if Chrollo uses a different power, and of course the location itself is carefully considered. So they fight. We follow Hisoka's point of view in this fight. It's risky getting close to Chrollo or he'll get stuck with Black Voice and lose the fight. So Chrollo rushes into the crowd using Black Voice to cover his escape, but now he could look like anyone with convert hands. He goes on to kill a lot of people in the crowd, copies them, and now he can turn them into as many puppets as he likes. So the crowd itself is now charging at Hisoka to kill him, and I mean a lot of people. And then Chrollo himself can sneak in and attack in the openings that they create. A lot of this fight is Hisoka's thought process on how Chrollo is combining his powers and trying to find a space to launch a counterattack. And he manages to do so, tracking down Chrollo and landing this finishing blow, but it's someone else from Convert Hands, controlled by Black Voice. That chase gave Chrollo a lot of time though. Time he spent making new copies and stamping them. Hisoka moves to the center of the ring to search again when Chrollo takes over the announcer's headset. Break Hisoka. Hundreds of copies start running into the ring, but Chrollo is controlling one of them. They sneak close and finding an opposing symbol, explode on Hisoka's hand, taking it out of the fight. Did you forget about the Sun and Moon? Now they're coming in by the dozen, with people exploding above him and an army looking to break him below. Hisoka finds two opposing symbols and... But it's not the explosion that gets him. The explosion killed all of the puppets around him, which ended up smothering him to death. Chrollo wins. Or does he? See, before the explosion, Hisoka puts Nen after death around his heart and lungs to basically defibrillate himself back to life. It was a gamble and something he didn't know if he could actually do, but it's something that paid off. He rebuilds himself out of Nen and declares war against the Phantom Troop. And that is where the Hisoka fight ends. Though remember how he went on to kill Kortopi and Shellnark? Well, those were the two that Chrollo took the Nen powers from. Just a cheeky connection there for you. Let's wrap it up with Gon and Killua. Where'd they go? Killua gets a very brief cameo talking to Kurapika when Kurapika is looking for Prince guards, and besides this one panel, he hasn't shown up after the anime. We assume that he's still off traveling with Narnika Aluka. As for Gon, well, we get a little closure on him, but nothing past this. After the World Tree chat with Jing, Gon can't release his aura anymore. He gives his dad a call and Jing says that it's probably all okay. This is the fallout of choosing for it all to end in that Pito fight. Also, kind of crucial, he says, if you want more, there will be a price to pay, suggesting that he might get his powers back at some point. And so, for the moment, Gon goes home. He goes back to his aunt and thinks about what he wants to do with his life. He kind of achieved his goals of finding his father. Now what? For the moment, he's back to a normal life. And so his aunt, in true manga fashion, slaps him with a massive pile of homework and studies to catch up with the real world. And that is it. That's the last we see of Gon. That clue about paying the price suggests that we'll see him later on, but with HunterXHunter, who knows, eh? And there you go. Hopefully that catches you up a bit more on where HunterXHunter goes after the anime. If you do want to go a bit deeper down the HunterXHunter rabbit hole, I will leave some links for you in the description. But for now, thanks for watching. This has been CG, and I will see you Gs in the next one.